go. Okay, great. All right. You know what? Let's start standing today. Let me adjust my camera. So I'd like you to find your way up to your feet, and let's take a nice wide stance. So let your toes point out at about a 45-degree angle. But as always, once we find that stance, let's take a moment to find this space together. Bring your hands to your heart and close your eyes. And begin to cultivate some nice, deep belly breaths, really feeling that full freedom of air. As you breathe, let's begin to feel some movement going along with that breath. So on your inhale, feel your spine roll out nice and long, stand tall on the mat. And then exhale, soften a little bit, melting. Inhaling, lifting, rising, creating length. And exhale to soften. And then let's let that pulse begin to spread out. So on your exhale, sink down into your knees, Haimalasana. Inhaling, lifting, lengthening. And exhaling, softening. On this next exhale, release your hands down by your sides, and on your inhale, open out. Exhale, hands through, heart center. Inhale to open. And continue to follow that pattern for a few breaths. Now, as you breathe, as you move, if you notice that it would feel good to add on here or to linger in any particular space, to change this pattern, feel free to do so, to begin to honor the space where you are this morning, just noticing what would feel good in your body. And then find your way back to center. Come back to stillness. Draw your hands to your heart and take a moment to set your intention for your practice today. It's also June 1st. It's the beginning of another month. So you can always take this opportunity to set your intention, not just for the practice, but for how you would like to move through the month of June. And then once that intention is set, simply release your hands down, make your way to the top of your mat, and let's set up our first Tadasana of practice. As always, let's let that first Tadasana be quite conscious, right? So root your feet, draw up on your inner arches, feel your quads engaging, draw your navel toward your spine, tailbone lengthens, shoulders roll back and down, palms face forward. Inhale to sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Bend your knees, plant your fingertips, and on your inhale, step your right foot back to lunge. So just notice with your lunge, if you need to adjust at all, remember you can always wiggle your feet a little bit wider. Inhale to look forward. Exhale, scoop your belly in and up. Inhale, that heart and your right heel reach away from each other. Exhaling to coil. Inhaling to open. Let your next inhale bring you to lunge. Plant your hands, press it back to downward facing dog, and begin to find some movement. So walk it out, bend one knee and then the other. Remember, you can shift your shoulders, sway your spine. Just finding a little bit of ease, loosening up any tight spots. And then stabilize your downward facing dog. Inhale to look forward. Exhale, roll your body all the way out to plank. And let's build a little heat right here, remembering if it gets to be too much, you can just drop your knees down to the mat. On your exhale, draw your navel toward your spine. Inhale, heart and heels reach away from each other. Exhaling, coiling. So a very subtle pulse. You feel it more than see it. On your next exhale, lower your knees all the way down to the mat. Shift your shoulders forward slightly. Find your half plank, right? So knees, hips, and shoulders are in one long line. Bend your elbows and float your way all the way down to the earth. Walk your toes back, create space. Bring your fingertips wide. And let's roll it out. Creative Cobra. Find some nice big shoulder circles. Return your hands to beneath your shoulders. Turn your toes under, press it back. Downward facing dog. Again, a little pause for movement right here. And then come to stillness at the center. Inhale to sweep your right leg to the sky. Press through both heels and turn your right toes out. So we're starting to stretch that right hip open. Just breathe, sustaining three-legged dog. Try to keep the weight in your shoulder girdle even. On your next exhale, coil your right knee in, shift forward and place your right foot between your hands. So take a moment right here, set up your strong lunge. Hug your midline so your thighs are drawing toward each other even though your feet are staggered. Inhale, press your left heel away, look forward. Exhale, scoop in from your navel. That right leg starts to straighten. Inhaling to lunge. Exhaling, coiling. Let your next inhale bring you to lunge. Exhale, step together and fold, surrender. Let your head be heavy, let your neck be long. Remember, you can always find movement here. You can turn your head, you can sway a little bit. And then come to stillness. Bend your knees. Exhale, roll your way all the way up to standing. Inhale, rise and open. Exhale, hands to heart center. Notice where your Tadasana is. Reset if necessary. And again, root to rise. So plant your feet and then feel that energy drawing up your body. Strong core, open heart. Inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway rise. Ardha Uttanasana, hands come to the shins or the floor or your thighs. Roll your heart forward, feel your spine lengthening. Exhale to fold. 2 more times, halfway rise. And plant your fingertips. Inhale to step your left foot back to lunge. Now this time we're going to walk our hands to the inside and wiggle that right foot out a little bit wide. Plant your hands. Inhale to look forward. Exhale, coiling in. Inhaling, lengthening. Exhale to scoop it in. Let your next inhale bring you to lunge. Press back, downward facing dog. Stabilize right here. Inhale to look forward. Exhale, roll your body all the way out to plank. Feel that nice slow wave pattern. Inhale in plank. And exhale, let your navel draw you back, rolling back to downward facing dog. Inhale to look forward. Exhale, roll your body out. Inhale in plank. And exhale, roll it back. Just a couple more times right here. On your next exhale, follow that through your vinyasa, knees lifted or lowered, yogi's choice. Once you have found your way back to downward facing dog, bring your toes to touch at the back of the mat. Inhale to sweep your left leg to the sky. Press through both heels and then turn your left toes out. So again, we're beginning to cultivate an open hip. We're going to breathe right here. On your next exhale, coil your left knee in, shift forward. Little trick here, step that left foot to the outside of the left hand. You can always readjust once you're there. Plant your hands to the inside. So we're starting to open up that hip a little bit more. Inhale to look forward. Exhale, scoop in. Inhale, press your right heel away, look forward. And exhale to coil. Let your next inhale bring you forward to lunge. Exhale, step together. Forward fold, release, surrender. Relax your head, relax your neck, relax your jaw. Bend your knees. Exhale, roll your way all the way up to standing. Inhale, rise and open. Exhale, hands to heart center. Again, find Tadasana or recenter your Tadasana if necessary. Inhale, rise and open. Exhale to fold. Plant your fingertips. Now this time, let's walk our fingertips over to the left-hand side. We're going to turn our heart toward the left-hand side and press our right hip away. Get a nice deep stretch in the lower right-hand side of your back. If it's too much, walk your hands a little back toward the front. And then walk your hands over to the right. So same thing, the heart reaches to the right. Press your left hip away. And come back to center. Inhale, step your right foot back to lunge. Wiggle that left foot out. Plant your hands to the inside. Now this time, let's lower that right knee down. So we're going to start moving toward lizard pose as part of our opening namaskars. So remember, it can sometimes be helpful to have a block nearby. For this round of namaskar, we'll leave our arms lengthened, but on the next one, we'll start coming down toward the earth. So from here, hug your inner thighs together, right? We haven't lost that. We're still hugging that midline. You're going to feel your left knee pressing into your left upper arm. That's good. Inhale to look forward. Exhale, scoop in, coiling. You can shift back. Inhale, forward. Melt that right hip toward your mat. Exhale, scooping, shifting back. Inhaling forward. From here, knees together. Position your hips over your knees, walk your hands forward, and melt your heart toward the mat, puppy dog pose. Now you have options here. If your shoulders are very open and you're discovering that your forearms are on the mat, you can tent your fingertips to give your shoulders a little more space to stretch. Alternatively, if this is too much, you can bend your elbows and consciously place your forearms on the mat to get the stretch without some of the pressure. And then roll your way all the way out and down onto your belly. Come down to the earth. Walk your toes back, create space. Sphinx pose, elbows come to directly beneath your shoulders. Good, so press into your forearms and your hands. Feel nice and buoyant in your shoulders. Let's turn our toes under first. Turn your toes under, and then on your exhale, begin to roll your body up from the belly button, floating up into forearm plank. Let's cultivate some heat right here. Same pulse as in full plank. Exhaling, navel to spine. Inhaling, heart and heels reach away. On your next exhale, roll it down, knees, quads, hips. Make a pillow with your hands, rest your head and rock your hips from side to side. And then return your toes to the mat, press back, downward facing dog. Bring your toes to touch at the back of the mat. Inhale to sweep your right leg to the sky, hip mandalas on the exhale. Coil that right knee into your core and then inhale to open it out to the side, the back, and draw it through. So just imagine drawing huge circles with that right knee. Nice and slow as well, right? With control. That's where strength comes from. We do not fling the leg. On your next exhale, coil your right knee in, shift forward, and place your foot. Bring your hands to the inside. Let's lower that left knee down to the mat for a deeper hip stretch. Hug your right knee toward your right shoulder. Hug your midline, inner thighs drawing toward each other. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, shift back. Inhaling forward to lunge, soften your left hip toward the mat. And exhale, scoop and shift back. Inhale forward to lunge. Turn your left toes under, lift that back knee. Look forward and exhale, step together. Forward fold, surrender. This always being the moment of release. Bend your knees. Exhale, roll your way all the way up to standing. Inhale, rise and open. Exhale, hands to heart center. Last time for our opening namaskar. Inhale to rise. Exhale to fold. Plant your fingertips. Inhale to step your left foot back to lunge. Lower your left knee down. Walk your hands to the inside of your right foot. So we're going to work toward lizard pose here. So you have options. If you've got a block, you're welcome to come down to your forearms on that block or on that cushion. If it is open for you, you can come down all the way to the mat, resting your forearms and hugging that right knee toward your right shoulder. And we do find that pulse here, right? We inhale, we look forward, we melt that left hip. Exhale, we coil, hugging everything in. Inhale. And one last option, if you'd like to turn up the heat, you're welcome to turn your left toes under and lift that back knee. From here, walk your hands up, press it back, downward facing dog, walk it out a little bit, and then inhale, look forward. Exhale, roll your body all the way out to plank. Now from here, I'd like you to find your slowest chaturanga. Try to take multiple breaths on your way down to the mat. And then when you finally touch down, walk your toes back, create space, and let's bring fingertips wide. Let's roll that out, creative cobra. Big, beautiful shoulder circles. Return your hands to beneath your shoulders. Turn your toes under, press back. Downward facing dog. Bring your toes to touch the back of the mat. Inhale to sweep your left leg to the sky. Stabilize, then find hip mandalas. Coil that left knee in. Inhale to open your left knee out to the side, to the back, and draw it through. So big, beautiful circles. On your next exhale, coil your left knee in, shift forward, and place your left foot. Now bring that left foot to the outside, lower your right knee down. So let's set up lizard pose on this side. And again, options. You can bring a block in and place your forearms on it to come down halfway. If it's open to you, you're welcome to come down to the mat. Forearms reaching down, hands in prayer. Wherever you are, hug your left knee toward your left shoulder. On your exhale, we coil everything in. Inhale, let that heart and your right knee reach away from each other. Also, on this round, options for turning up the heat. You can turn your right toes under to lift your back knee if you'd like to. From here, walk your hands up. Inhale to look forward. Exhale, step together. Forward fold, full lunar pause right here. Let your head be heavy. Find movement if that would feel good. You can rock from side to side. Just let it all go. Come back to stillness at the center. Bend your knees. Exhale, roll your way all the way up. Inhale, rise and open. Exhale, hands to heart center. Release your hands down by your sides. Once more checking in with that Tadasana before we move on. Make your way to downward facing dog. You can get there however you would like to. From your downward facing dog, inhale to sweep your right leg to the sky. Exhale, coil your right knee in. Shift forward and place your right foot between your hands. Now walk your hands to the broad side of the mat. And we're going to let our toes be parallel, so our feet are facing out. From here, let's start just with a wide-legged forward fold because it would feel nice. Just surrender. Let the crown of your head dangle toward the earth. Walk your fingertips away from you. Wherever they land, latch them into the earth. Melt your heart toward your mat and tip your tailbone a little more toward the sky. If you notice that it would feel good to walk your fingertips out further, go ahead and do so. Walk your hands back to center. Walk them over to your right side. Sink down, press the edge of your left foot away. Inhale to center and over to the left, pressing the edge of your right foot away. So a little flowing Skandasana right here, just to continue loosening up through our lower body. Move on your breath. And remember that you have options, right? We can keep hands down for support. You're also welcome to float them free if you would like for unsupported. If it is open to you, if you have very open hips, you can drop all the way down and let those opposite toes reach toward the sky. Find your way back to center. Step your feet together into forward fold. Bend your knees. Now from here, I'd like you to find your right big toe with your right piece fingers. Root your weight into your left foot. On your exhale, roll your body up, bringing that foot with you. And it's okay if it doesn't work out, right? That's pretty challenging. Once you have reached standing, engage your core. I'm going to adjust my camera so you can see what I'm doing. Breathe. Now, if this is already really challenging, you stay right here. You cultivate balance. If you'd like to, you can press into that right heel for big toe pose 1. Stay right here, or open out to the side for big toe pose 2. And as with all challenging places, just remember to breathe. Keep your core engaged. That helps with balance. It helps us stay focused. Bend your right knee. Place your right foot to the inside of your thigh for Vrikshasana. Hands come to heart center for tree pose, Vrikshasana. Stay right here or add some branches. From here, hands come back down to heart center. Float that right foot free. Now we're going to turn that knee back in. And without setting the foot down, we're going to lower our right knee so that it is next to the left knee. So from here, reach your right hand back, find your foot. Engage your core and direct your right knee so that it is next to your left. Begin to press into that right hand. So we're moving toward dancer pose, stretching the shoulder, stretching the quad. Remember to stay lifted, core engaged, heart is shining. And then with control, set your right foot down and wiggle it out. All right, on your inhale, rise and open. Exhale, fold forward. Take your left piece fingers, find your left big toe. On your exhale, with control, slowly roll your way up, bringing that toe with you. Strong core, shoulders rolling back and down, heart lifted. And again, yogi's choice, you can stay right here. You can also press into your left heel. You can stay right here or Open out to the side for big toe pose 2. Now you'll notice I have a really deep bend in my knee here. I have piriformis issues on this side, and we always choose the straight spine over the straight leg. So rather than having an extended leg and being kind of hunched, we want to keep our spines nice and straight and just bend that knee. From here, take your left foot, place it to your right inner thigh for tree pose, Vrikshasana. Hands come to heart center. Stabilize right here. You can stay with hands at heart center or add some branches. And then hands come through to heart center. We're going to float that left foot free. Sweep your left hand behind you to find your ankle. So, let me do it facing this way. So, same adjustment here, right? Once we have found that left foot, we're going to draw our left knee to even with the right. And you might already feel a quad stretch here. I did a lot of lawn mowing, so I'm feeling it. Staying aware of where that stretch is happening in your body, begin to press into your left hand. Strong core, heart lifted, moving toward Nataraj, stretching out that left shoulder, stretching that left quad. And then with control, come back, lower that left foot down and wiggle it out. Nicely done. Make your way to downward facing dog. You can get there however you would like to. Once you have found your down dog, bring your toes to touch. Inhale to sweep your right leg to the sky. Bend your right knee and press your heel over to the left side. So we're finding that nice, big, beautiful open hip right here. Exhale to soften a little bit. Inhaling to open. On your next exhale, coil your right knee in, shift forward, rolling, hugging to twist. Now we're going to hug that right knee toward that left armpit and then set that leg down for pigeon pose. So once you've landed, we're going to heel toe that right foot out to the side. So for pigeon, of course, we want to stay centered. If you find that you're starting to flop off on your right side, no big deal. Place a block or a towel or a blanket underneath your right glute. So let's start just by stretching it out in pigeon. Inhale, create plenty of length. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Come into prostration. So you can bow your head toward the earth. You can also come down to your elbows and find prayer hands, whatever speaks to you today. Breathe into any spaces that are holding out on you. And then release your hands down to the mat, press into your palms to create length. From here, begin to lift and lower your left foot. Reach your left hand back to find that foot and begin to gently draw that left foot toward you. So you might feel a deep stretch in your quad. I'm definitely feeling one right now. We want to go to the point where this feels good, right? Even when yoga is challenging, it should feel good. I don't know if you just heard that, but my dog is sitting outside the door and just farted, so that's lovely. And then we're going to release that left foot back down to the mat. Turn your left toes under, float that right leg back, three-legged dog. Now this time, exhale, coil your right knee to the outside of your right upper arm, and then set your foot down. So we've got our hands planted to the inside, right foot's to the outside. Lower your left knee down. Begin to work your right shoulder underneath your right foot, and then begin to press into that right heel. Lower and lift. Last option here, you can turn your left toes under if you would like, pressing into that right heel. Now there's an arm balance that comes out of this that I cannot do in my body, but if it's in your wheelhouse, you're welcome to float forward and then float that left foot off the mat. And then come on down. Child's pose, let your toes touch. Float your way all the way down to the earth, surrender. Rest your head. With every exhale, sink your hips a little toward your heels. Just letting your body soften. As always in these spaces of rest, come back to your intention for your practice. And then simply walk your way back up. Find your way downward facing dog. Bring your toes to touch at the back of the mat. Inhale, sweep your left leg to the sky. Bend your knee and press your heel over to the right side. Just finding that big, beautiful stretch. On this exhale, coil your left knee in, hug to twist, drawing your left knee toward your right upper arm and then setting that leg down for pigeon pose. From here, heel toe, your left foot out to the side, finding your base for pigeon. And again, just notice if you feel like you're falling off toward your left-hand side, no problem. Put a block underneath that glute, and we'll start with stretching it out. So inhale, find length. Exhale, surrender. Bowing forward. Remember that you can just bow here. You can come to full prostration, whatever speaks to you right now. And then walk your hands back. From here, move your block if you were using one, of course. Turn your right toes under, float that left leg back. Three-legged dog extension. Exhale, coil your left knee to the outside of your left upper arm, and then set that foot down. So we find that nice wide lunge. Left foot is to the outside here. Lower your right knee down. And let's work that left arm underneath that left knee. Plant your hands, begin to press into your left heel. So you can stay right here, working on getting that left heel off the floor. You're also welcome to turn your right toes under and lift your back leg. And again, there is an arm balance here. If you have it in your practice, you're welcome to try it. I don't. And then come on out, right knee down, toes to touch. Child's pose, sink your hips toward your heels, melt your heart toward the mat. Let it go. Walk your hands back and press your way up to seated. Ooh, you know what? I forgot that quad stretch on that side. Let's go back to pigeon pose real quick. So set that knee forward, lower your right hip down. So once again, just finding our pigeon. Reach your right hand back, begin to lift and lower that right foot, and then find the foot and begin to draw it toward your body. That would have been bad. You would have been all stretched out on one quad and not the other. And again, just breathe. And release that right foot down to the mat. So press it back. Find an easy kneeling pose. So I love arm balances, and we're going to close just with a little sort of playtime in Bakasana and crow pose. Now, if you already have a Bakasana in your practice, I welcome you to ignore the next couple minutes of my coaching and just fly there. If Bakasana, if crow is a little bit new to you, no problem. Let's talk it through. So what I'd like you to do is come up to your tippy toes. And we're going to let our heels touch and our knees are going to open out to the side. So imagine if you took ballet, it's a little bit like a plie with the heels lifted, right? Let's walk our hands in. We're going to plant our fingers, and before we even begin to shift our weight, let's just practice the movement. So in Bakasana, in crow pose, you want your navel drawing toward your spine, so much lift, so much core strength that your lower back rounds and your hips rise. So let's find that first. So exhale, coiling in. And you'll notice once your arms get almost extended that your knees are going to want to tuck directly into your armpits. Exhale to soften. Good, take a deep breath. On this next exhale, let's find that again. And then inhale to soften. So now we can play around a little bit with the arm balance. So engage your belly, lift your hips. Now let's go ahead and find contact. Knees go into the armpits. Begin to shift your weight forward onto your hands. And you might just shift forward and back a little bit. Maybe you start to lift one foot and then the other. Maybe you find that balance point and you lift both toes and hover in Bakasana. And wherever you are, it is correct, right? There are 1,000 points along this journey. And then when you are all done playing, make your way down to the mat and let's counterpose our wrists. So that puts all of our body weight on just this little tiny section of bone. So we should ease that. My preferred wrist release is to turn my palms under, bring the backs of my hands to the mat, and then begin to ease a little weight into my wrists. And just do a little massage right here. And then simply sweep your feet around to the front. Coming into butterfly or Baddha Konasana. Draw your heels toward your hips. We've been in hips all day. So all day, all practice. So you can go for a nice deep hip stretch here. So really let that space between your heels and your body be narrow, but still enough that you're sitting forward on your sits bones. Inhale to create plenty of length. On your exhale, begin to hinge forward from the hips. Now, as you make your way down, if it's open to you, you can begin to open your feet. Your elbows can come to your calves or to your inner thighs to help open a little further. And once you've reached your maximum point of stretch with a straight spine, then bow. Exhale to roll your body up. Draw your left heel in, extend your right leg nice and long. Now, those of you who are already quite flexible, you can always place a block by your foot if you would like to deepen this one, single leg forward fold. Turn your heart toward your right foot. Inhale, create length. Exhale to fold forward. Wherever your hands land is fine. So maybe that's your shin or your foot. Remember, if you are fairly flexible, you can grab that block and add it to the end of your foot just to get a nice deep stretch here. And then we're going to cultivate that long spine. Every inhale, create length. Every exhale, fold. Roll your body all the way up. Let's switch it out. Right heel in, left leg extends long. Again, placing a block if you would like to use it. Turn your heart toward your left foot. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. And again, just soften. Wherever your hands land is fine. So again, maybe the shin, maybe the foot. If you're very open on this side, remember you can always grab your block and place it to the bottom of your foot. And then we cultivate the spine. Inhaling, lengthening, and exhale to soften. And then simply walk your hands up. From here, let's roll our way all the way down onto our backs. I have bad news, you're gonna have to move. Draw your knees in and rock from side to side. Come to stillness at the center. Drop your heels down just beneath your glutes and let your palms come down to be flat on the earth. So we're going to move into a little back bend sequence here. On your exhale, draw your navel toward your spine slightly, right? Just enough that you can feel your tailbone reaching long. On your inhale, press into your heels, staying engaged through your core. Now you can stay right here, lifting and lowering, following the pulse of your breath. If you'd like, you're also welcome to walk your shoulders underneath, interlace your fingers, press your palms away and lift your heart. Exhale to soften. Inhaling to lift. And just notice that if you've chosen this option, that back bend moves. So it's a little more behind your heart and your third eye are reaching toward each other. And then find your way down. Vertebra by vertebra, roll your way all the way down to the mat. Draw your knees in and rock from side to side. Now from here, I invite you to choose the inversion that speaks to you. So one of the most accessible ones, you can just press your heels to the sky, experiencing a little unsupported legs up the wall. If you would like to move into shoulder stand, forearm handstand, or handstand here, those are also all available to you. What's most important is that we get our toes over our hearts. And then wherever your inversion practice is, begin to make your way back down. Draw your knees into your chest once you arrive. Again, rocking from side to side. Open your arms out to either side. Make a nice big T on the mat. Drop your knees off to your right-hand side and turn your head to look to the left. Remember, you can always reach down with that right hand and find the edge of your left foot, getting a little more of a stretch along your iliotibial band and the outside of your left leg. And come back to center. Draw your knees in, drop them off to that left-hand side. Again, you have the option to find the edge of your right foot and extend that leg. Turn your head to look to the right and just let the earth support your twist. And then simply make your way back to center, drawing your knees in. Now, if there is any additional movement, any stretch, anything at all that you would like to feel, take a moment to honor that request in your body. So maybe it's another inversion or a twist or a fold, whatever would feel really good. That's what goes right here. And then as you are ready, begin to make your way toward your Shavasana. Remembering, of course, that you have options, right? You can lie on your back with your toes out to either side, palms facing the sky. If that causes discomfort in your lower back, you can bend your knees, leave your feet the distance of the mat, and just let your knees fall together so your bones support you. You are, of course, also welcome to take Shavasana lying on your side or take seated meditation. What's most important here is that you find a position in which you can come to stillness and rest and absorb all of the benefits of your practice. So allow your body to rest. Notice all of the places where you are in contact with the earth. And just let those points of contact begin to melt, to grow less distinct. Relax your jaw. Relax your eyes and your forehead. And simply let go and float. allow your breath to create space within your body. And begin to find some little movements of your fingertips and your toes. Just bringing you back to this day, to this time. Point your toes away and reach your arms up overhead. Take a nice deep breath in, full body stretch. Then exhale to draw your knees into your chest. Rock from side to side. Eventually find your way all the way over onto your right side and just curl into the posture of a sleeping child. Take a moment right here in this space that you have created to release anything down into the earth that does not serve. And then whenever you are ready and you feel your practice is complete, use your hands to help press yourself up to a nice, easy seated position. Bring your hands to heart center and close your eyes. We're going to close our practice with a round of Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, a prayer for peace. Inhale. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. Namaste. Thank you. Let me come up and stop the recording.